Reddit users, please share your unexpected plot twist stories. I inherited a box from my late grandfather. It's been locked for as long as I can remember, but the key was nowhere to be found. After trying to pick the lock and failing, I decided to take it to a locksmith. It took him a few minutes to open it, but when he finally did, I found something that made my heart sink. Inside the box was a letter from my grandfather addressed to me, along with a small, leather-bound notebook. The letter read, "If you're reading this, then I'm gone. But before I go, there's something I need to tell you." And that's it, nothing more. I was on vacation in Europe when I lost my hotel room key. I searched everywhere, but it was nowhere to be found. Frustrated and exhausted, I decided to sit down in the lobby and wait until someone could help me. That's when I met him. He was tall, dark, and handsome, and he offered to help me get back into my room. We went up to the door, and he started fiddling with the lock. After a few minutes, the door finally opened. I turned to thank him, but when I looked back, he was gone. It was only then that I realized that the man who had helped me wasn't a guest at the hotel at all. My wife and I recently moved into a new house, and we've been renovating it for the past few months. One day, we discovered a hidden room that seemed to hold all the answers to our questions about the previous owners. There were old books, family photos, and even a few antiques. But as we started to investigate, we began to realize that the room was hiding a dark secret. The more we dug, the more danger we found ourselves in. I always thought that having a doppelganger would be cool, but when I actually met mine, I was completely freaked out. Not only did he look exactly like me, but he had the same name, the same interests, and even the same job. We decided to meet up and compare notes, but as we got to know each other better, we realized that our lives were even more intertwined than we thought. When I was growing up, my dad used to punish me with jumper cables. Whenever I misbehaved, he would whip me with them. It was brutal, but it worked. I never wanted to be hit with those things again. One day, when I was in my 20s, my dad brought up the incident. He apologized for what he had done, but then he said something that caught me off guard. He told me that he had been punished with jumper cables when he was a kid too. It was a vicious cycle that had been passed down through generations. I'm a teacher, and I once had a student named Kevin. He was the most incompetent person I had ever met. He couldn't do anything right. But then, one day, he surprised me. He solved a problem that nobody else could. I was amazed. I asked him how he did it, and he said that he just thought about it differently. It was a lesson that I would never forget. Sometimes, the most unexpected people can surprise you. I received a strange letter in the mail one day. It was from someone who claimed to be stalking me. The letter was written in a cryptic code, and it contained strange references to my life. I was scared, but I couldn't stop reading. Eventually, I decoded the message. It read, "I am holding an orange." I didn't understand what it meant until I received another letter. This one was even stranger than the first. When I moved into my new house, I found a locked door in the basement. I couldn't resist the temptation and picked the lock. Inside, I found a room filled with strange objects, including an old diary. As I read through the diary, I discovered that the previous owner had been a serial killer, and the objects in the room were his trophies. I started getting anonymous letters in the mail, and I knew someone was watching me. The letters were creepy, with details about my daily routine that only someone who was following me could know. I was terrified, but I didn't want to involve the police. That's when I decided to confront my stalker. When I did, I discovered that it was someone I never expected, my own sister. My grandfather left me a locked room in his house that he had forbidden me from entering until his death. When he passed away, I finally unlocked the door, only to find a room filled with evidence of my grandfather's secret life as a spy during the Cold War. For months, I received anonymous love letters from someone I didn't know. They were always so sweet and romantic, and I was convinced that I had finally found my soulmate. But when I discovered the identity of the person behind the letters, I realized that sometimes the truth can be more surprising than fiction. Friends, thank you for watching. Please share your stories below in the comments and see you on the next videos. Have a good day.